Welcome. It's the Genesee County Compassion Club show. I'm Jeremy, your host, coming to you live from Flint Talk Radio Studios right here in Flint, Michigan. Man, it's good to be here. I am sure loving this weather. Thanks for joining me today. I got some news and information for you from the Genesee County Compassion Club, and I'll also let you know what's going on in the world of medical marijuana. Lots of stuff going on, actually. But hey, thanks for joining me. And going to be a quick show today. Just want to get you guys updated, keep you in the loop. We've been having a lot of different things happening with medical marijuana, and thankfully there's been no law changes or anything like that. And we get a slew of questions all the time as to what's going on and this and that. But really, the status quo right now is pretty much the same. If you guys have a question, I just want to put it out there real quick. It's 810-208-1854. If you want to call in and ask a question, you're more than welcome to. Of course, join us on our website, www.genesee3c.com, or hit us up on our Facebook page at Genesee Compassion. Hey, right now, just to let you guys know, we are working on a studio, trying to put together some better productions for you here at the Flint Talk Radio, and then also for the Genesee County Compassion Club. So we've been slaving away next door, working on that hard. Got the guys from the club putting in over there, and we're excited to have that going on. But look for some changes to the podcast here in the future, and we'll be glad to share that with you as soon as possible. Also got John back here in the studio making it happen every day. I want to say thanks to him. Flint Talk Radio wouldn't be here without him. So let me pull this up here real quick and I'll be with you. Give me just a second, folks. Just also talking with my buddies out there at Pure Pro Wrestling. Joel, he's also a member of the club, better known as Xavier. And it's a fun family event they put on, and wrestling events. It's amateur pro wrestling. And if you guys like that kind of thing, WWE, whatever, it's his local scene. It's Pure Pro Wrestling's the name of it. You can check it out online or on Facebook. They're a great group of guys, and they do all kinds of benefits. But I know they've got lots of events coming up, and if you want to take your family out for a fun evening, I definitely recommend that. Just trying to get this pulled up here. Apologize. Working on my handy dandy tablet here. I know we got our friends down at the Verizon store here on Richfield Road. Bob is the man. If you guys have any cell phone needs down at Verizon, go check out Bob on Richfield Road, and he can take care of it. He hooked me up with this tablet here, and I got to tell you, I'm not a big fan of technology, but this thing is amazing. It really makes the job a lot easier. All right, I'm trying to sign in here. If you know how to use it. Let's see here. I do want to remind everyone, we had some law changes back here in December, and I know that everyone gets concerned wanting to make sure they're staying up to par, or at least up to date with all the medical marijuana changes and so on. One of the things you want to make sure you're real careful of is that when you get in your vehicle nowadays, make sure your medicine is inaccessible. It needs to be put away out of an area, out of reach, out of everyone's reach. It's in the vehicle. It'd be best off if it is locked up. It doesn't have to be locked, but it does need to be inaccessible. And just to protect yourself, you're best off putting it in the trunk, or if you're in a single cab truck, put it behind the seat. But just a word to the wise, please make sure you're protecting yourself and following the rules, and that will be one of the ways you can do so as well. All right, I'm trying to pull up information here on the People versus Kuhn. This is a court case that we've been working on for a while here. Trying to get the details on this for you. Long note. All right, let's try this here. Here we go. Trying to pull up the Supreme Court decision here. Bear with me. Ah! Here we go. All right, so here we go. This is the People versus Kuhn. This is a case that happened up north in the 86th District. Rodney Kuhn was charged in the district with operating a motor vehicle with a Schedule 1 controlled substance in his body, which is a violation of MCL Code 257, which is intoxicants. You're not allowed to have any type of drugs in your system at all when operating a motor vehicle. Blood tests showed that the defendant had THC in his bloodstream while operating the vehicle, and the defendant's registration under the Medical Marijuana Act was concluded that it protected him from prosecution under 257 unless the prosecution was able to prove that the defendant was actually impaired by the presence of marijuana in his body. So this is a unanimous opinion per the Supreme Court in granting to leave appeal without oral argument. So the course is, this is a win, okay? And what they were trying to do is say that Mr. Keel was guilty of Code 257, which is you cannot operate a motor vehicle in Michigan. It's the zero tolerance law. However, the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act, which is Law 333, does set a precedent that a patient is allowed to have internal possession of cannabis. What they had to prove in court was that not did this person have cannabis in their bloodstream, but were they impaired or were they under the influence while operating the vehicle? And they were not able to prove that in this case. Mr. Kuhn was not impaired, and although he may have had it in his bloodstream, he was not operating under the influence. And so consequently, the Supreme Court has held up or withheld the decision in the appeal case, and so Mr. Kuhn will be exonerated of these charges. So this is a good thing. It's a win. And, that's the important thing. We just talked about the fact that you need to make sure your medication is inaccessible in your vehicle. That is an absolute fact. You must do that. But if you are pulled over on the side of the road and you are asked if you are, hey, I smell cannabis, the officer is saying, and you present your card and say, well, this is why I have a medical necessity for this. And then the next obvious procedure in the conversation is going to be, well, have you been operating under the influence or were you medicating while driving? And of course, the answer should be no. It is the officer's duty to find out if you are impaired. So you may have a roadside sobriety test. Obviously, it's not going to be a breathalyzer, but if they do ask you to perform certain roadside functions, make sure you cooperate to the best of your ability. And also, I recommend that if you have a disability which would not allow you to perform all of the tests that the officer would ask of you, that you inform the officer right away so he's able to make the proper decision making from that process. But please understand, officers are just trying to do their job. You are protected as long as you're following the law. So as long as we continue to make sure we're within our guidelines and be respectful, I don't think we're going to have any problems, especially here in Genesee County. I think we just need to make sure that we are being respectful and with our medication, and I think that goes without saying. So I know that our members at the Genesee County Compassion Club take that to heart, and I do appreciate the fact that they're making sure they're sticking to the guidelines. I mean, we're the representatives of this, and we got to be able to do things the right way if we want to continue to have it be broadened in society. I mean, people aren't going to accept this if you go around being irresponsible, and as well they shouldn't have to. So at any rate, that's a good court case. That's a good one. It's People versus Kuhn. You can look it up. It's public information. You can read the Supreme Court decision. It's a few pages long. I think it was a good one. And so far, the cases that have gone through the Supreme Court have had somewhat of a positive aspect to every one of them so far. And so I know there's a lot of folks out there that are in the court system in regards to medical marijuana charges or trafficking or possession. All I can say to you is, I hope that you were following the rules, and if you were, you should be protected. So best of luck to you. And, we at the Genesee County Compassion Club would do whatever we can to make sure you're informed of the rules and laws. So if you have questions, you can always feel free to ask the staff, or again, call into our podcast here, and we'd be glad to take your calls live on the air. You can also call the club too if you ever have a question. It's 810-250-0054, and our friendly staff's on hand there to answer your questions. This is a short show for you this week. We don't have a lot of announcements coming up at the Compassion Club. I know there's a few events coming up here. We have a charity event coming up soon. I don't have the date on that for you. I apologize. But I know that you can find that information on our club's website. Again, that's www.genesee3c.com. We also have a couple different fundraisers going on, so you can take a look at those. And I believe we will have classes scheduled soon as well. So lots of new stuff coming up at the club. Stay tuned. And next week, please join us back here at flinttalkradio.com on ustream.tv. And we'll have an interesting show for you. Like I said, we're looking to do some changes to the podcast, make it more fun, more exciting, and keep it informative. And I just want to say thanks to all our members who check this out on a regular basis. Thank you for all of our members who are there. And God bless you. Have a great week. Thank you.